Good morning. My name is Marianne Atwell Hardy, and I'd like to welcome you to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. We're going to start this morning, as we always do, with about 15 minutes of meditation. So I would like you to just get comfortable in your chair wherever you are. And we like to say, when you're here, you're home. So to start our breath work today, I'm going to have everyone first just breathe in for 4, breathe out for 4, and we'll do that 3 times. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, saying, I am. Breathe out, saying, home. And if you'll put your hand on your heart and breathe one more time, saying, I am. Breathe in. Breathe out, home. Because we are truly home, right where we are. I'm going to start by reading a meditation from Ernest Holmes. And he talks about, I see the divine presence in all others. The best way to make friends is to realize that we meet life in everyone. The God in us meets the God in others. Proclaiming the divine presence, believing in it, we shall meet it. Love will find a perfect way. Our faith in the divine presence in others will overcome the fear of being misunderstood or hurt. If the mind is calm and serene, there will be less liability towards pain. Therefore, at all times, we should be serene and poised. Confidence and love alone cast out fear. The person without fear is the only truly whole person. It is ours to decide whether we shall live in fear or in faith. Let us decide to live in faith. Let us learn to practice faith until all fear disappears, until life ceases to be a funeral dirge and becomes a song of joy. To find peace in the midst of confusion, we must realize our center in pure spirit. To reach this place of confidence and faith in the midst of doubt and uncertainty, we should constantly unite our thought with the divine mind. I know that God is within me. I know that the spirit within me is perfect. I enter into its peace and am secure in its protection. The unerring judgment of divine intelligence directs my way. The presence of love uplifts me and lights my life today. So again, just breathing in those words. We're going to have some quiet meditation time now. And as the music fades, I invite you to put your hands on your heart, anchoring in that truth that I and we are home. And we're home because the divine always lives right in the center of our being. So I thank you for participating in this meditation. It helps prepare each one of us, our hearts and minds, to truly be able to hear with our total being all that will follow in the service at 10:15. So thank you again. Namaste.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday celebration service at the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Carol Cross. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here. I'm standing in for Reverend Dusty, who is our minister, who is off doing a different kind of spiritual service. And we are just so glad to have you join us today. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is one of a number of a connected network of centers for spiritual living all over the world. And some of our core beliefs, probably our biggest core belief is that there is one spirit, one substance. Some of us call it God. Some of us call it God by different names. Some of us call it spirit, unconditional love, the one, the word. But there's just the one. And it is both the source and the substance of everything in the universe, including each one of us. That we have that divine spark within each of us that is the core of who and what we are. And because of that, since God is a divine creature of creation, so are we. So we believe that we create the circumstances and the experiences of our lives through our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. And some people find that daunting, but we find it empowering because it means that we can create the world that we want, the life that we want. And that if things aren't working exactly the way that we want right now, we have the power to do something about it. And that is why we gather
Sunday services and Wednesday services and classes and activities and all sorts of things to get better and better at using our own power to create the life of our dreams. So, if that sounds like something you're up for, then you're in exactly the right place. I have a special announcement for this morning. Once again, our outreach ministry has chosen to support the Friends of Guardian Ad Litem's Backpack Project this summer. We will focus on high school age students. Those of us that feel called to participate can do so in a number of ways. You can purchase the list of items to complete a full backpack. You can purchase a number of single items, or you can simply donate money. And the outreach ministry will do the shopping. You can bring your purchased items to service any Sunday in July, or you can contact Maya Presley at yahoo.com. You can also donate online by PayPal, or you can send a check to the Triangle's address, but we need to get that check by Monday, July 25th, so that the outreach committee has enough time to do their shopping. So here's a list of the necessary items. You need a backpack, a package of number 2 pencils, a supply or pencil pouch, pink or white erasers, loose leaf notebook paper, subject tab indexes, those are the 5 little things that breaks up a notebook, a 1-inch 3-ring binder, 2 pocket folders, those 2 pocket file folder things, a pack of 12 colored pencils, a pack of markers, black, blue, and red ballpoint pens, highlighters, a 12-inch ruler that has both inches and millimeters, a package of sticky notes, a single subject spiral notebook, earbuds or headphones, USB flash drive, a personal sized hand sanitizer, and a package of disinfectant wipes, and a handheld pencil sharpener. So if any of those particularly call to you, you can buy a bunch of those, or you can get as much as you want and put together a whole backpack, or just send us some money. So we appreciate everyone who can support us in this ministry. I remember as a child going back to school, how special it was to have brand new stuff and how that made me so excited. And so we want to make that possible for all the children in Wake County. All right. So I want to thank Marianne Hardy for her beautiful meditation, always so heartfelt. And she's going to be bringing that consciousness throughout the service. But right now, she's going to come up as our platform host for the day. So let's say welcome to Marianne Hardy.
Good morning. The theme for the year 2022 is Living Everyday Wonder. Our theme for the month of July is Relationships. And Rev Jim's talk title today is You and I Are We. I'm now going to read our community purpose statement, which is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice this truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. Oh, and now if you will get quiet and turn within, open your heart and mind, and just allow the beautiful sounds of the crystal bowls to wash over you.
And now, if you'd please allow your spirit to return to your body, we are going to do our beloved ritual, the Blessings of All Faith. And I would like to ask our volunteers, Mary and Stephanie, to come up to assist me with this. Thank you, ladies. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that run through all spiritual paths, as represented by this ceremony. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the paths of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of the divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people and all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. And so it is. Thank you, ladies. So once again, I invite you to close your outer eyes as I say a word of blessing on today's service. And I close my eyes to get in touch with that one heart that we just spoke of. The heart that is the unconditional love of God, that is the power and the beauty and the wisdom and the connection, the unity, the abundance, the joy that is God. And it is that one heart that ties me to everyone and everything in this universe. Every one of you, every person on the planet, but all the trees and the bees and the butterflies and the snakes and the fish and the rocks, the everything. Every vibration is a divine vibration. And so today we start this service in that divine vibration, knowing that it will make things flow perfectly, that what is needed to be said will be said, what is needed to be heard will be heard. I say a word of blessing on all of the volunteers behind the scenes who came here early to make today possible. I say a word of blessing on our audiovisual goddesses, Heather and Ava, without whom we could not send this message out into the world. I say a word of blessing on Marianne Hardy, that queen of serene who did our meditation and who is keeping that energy for us throughout the service. I say a word of blessing on the angel of the guitar, Karen Daly, who never ceases to make me cry with the beauty and the heartfelt truth of her songs. I say a word of blessing on Reverend Jim Rigsbee, who will delight us and inspire us and show us a new path to even greater heights. And I say a word of blessing on every one of you who are part of this service today, because the power of this service is not just the person speaking at the microphone. It is our community. It is our connection. It is that energetic flow between all of us as we co-create this service. So thank you for your contributions. Thank everyone for the part they play in making today a divine event. And so I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for our community. I'm so grateful for our technology. I'm so grateful for these learnings. I'm just so grateful for the wonderful things I know are unfolding today. So I say, let's get to it and send this out into the law that always says yes with our words. And so it is. So let's see. Today's reading is from a singer-songwriter named Jim Reeves, from a piece called A Stranger's Just a Friend. If ever your life is lonely, if ever you're feeling low, there's one thing you must remember. A stranger's just a friend you do not know. I'll pass along this way just one time only, a sweeping moment in eternity. Why should I spend my life alone and lonely if just a word of friendship is the key? A warm smile can bring me true love. A warm heart can make it so. There's no need for being lonely. A stranger's just a friend you do not know. No matter where you go, of this you can be sure. A stranger's just a friend you do not know. So it is, right? Yes. Thank you. So I know that everybody's excited to see how Reverend Jim goes with that. But we have a treat even before that treat, and that is the glorious singing of our beloved Karen Daly. So thank you for being here, Karen. We've missed you. Oh, let's give a applause. Yay!
Thank you so much. I'm not Cindy. Cindy was supposed to be here today, so sorry if you kind of tuned in looking for her. She is quarantining from COVID, with COVID, I believe, but I think the family's fine and everybody's good. But send them your good love and mojo. So I'm kind of pulling these couple of things last minute out of my hat here, but I love this song regarding relationships, and you and I are one, and we, and it just gives me a lot of hope for our future. And it's called One Day by Modest Yahoo. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God that I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me too soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. And sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. And when negativity surrounds, well, I know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for people to say that they don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and the children will play. One day, one day, one day. It's not about win or lose, 'cause we all lose. They belong. The souls of the innocent, hundreds beaten, keep on moving, don't wanna stay beaten. In this maze, you could lose your way, your way, your way. And it might drive you crazy, but don't let it faze you. No way, no way. Sometimes in your tears you drown, but never let it get you down. And when negativity surrounds, well, you know someday it'll all turn around. 'Cause all your life you've been waiting for, you've been praying for people to say that they don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Day this will all change. We'll treat people all the same. We're gonna stop with the violence. We're gonna end the hate. And one day we'll all be free and proud to be another safe
Thank you so much, Karen. She didn't warn me she was going to sing that song because that was a song she sang at my son's high school graduation. So that makes me cry even more than she usually does. But that's the power of community, that we share our talents with and gifts with each other in lots of different ways. So thank you, Cary. Speaking of community, it's my pleasure now to introduce our speaker. Reverend Jim Rigsbee has been a pillar of our community for years and years. When I first came, it seemed like he was everywhere. He did all sorts of practitioner activities and duties. He taught adult classes. He helped coach those of us who were thinking about being practitioners. He led our teen program, and he was our go-to tech guy because he worked in the computer industry. But in the midst of his successful corporate career, he had a calling. He had a calling to work with people who are ailing or who are preparing to make their transition from this physical existence. And so he did what it took to follow that calling. So those of you who are more recent to TCSL may not have seen him as much because in addition to having a high-level corporate computer job, he has been taking classes to achieve both a master's degree in consciousness studies and a ministerial degree from Holmes Institute, which he just completed earlier this year. And he has now, but he was also doing a program of being a chaplain. So he was working as a chaplain, taking classes, working a corporate job. Busy guy. So he's about to complete, he is now a licensed minister, and he's about to complete his chaplaincy residency, which will allow him to become a professional chaplain. And he is a perfect man for that job. But those of us who know him love him not so much for his many, many accomplishments, but because we know his brilliant mind, his commitment to spiritual growth and service, and his big, huge heart. So I am so proud to call up to the podium for the first time speaking as a minister, our beloved Reverend Jim Rigsbee.
Oh, hi. You caught me. You caught me. I'm working on my phone, I'm going to put it away now. Sorry. All right. So that may be funny, but isn't that what we do in today's society? We kind of walk around and we use our technology to look at things, and sometimes we don't interact with other people. So I say that we have a technology-driven, voyeuristic society. A technology-driven, voyeuristic society. So a lot of us are experiencing, not all of us, but some of us like me, sometimes experience life through our technology. Whether that be watching videos on YouTube, maybe that's looking at our phone constantly, at all the different apps that are on the phone. I know I'm a big Facebook fan, so in the morning I have my coffee and I'm scrolling through my Facebook. But we tend to do this in public. We tend to do this around other people. And so, we might text back and forth 10 different messages with our friend, back and forth and back and forth. And we're not, we could pick up the phone and call them after that many text messages, but some people don't like to talk anymore. Or we're sitting in a room full of people And I grab my phone. There's a whole group of people, in a waiting room somewhere. And I grab my phone and I'm like, oh my God, there's people here, and I work on my Facebook or something like that. How many of you have seen family dining together? And instead of, talking around dessert, they're all looking at their phones. You see this in restaurants all the time. I know programmers who will text the programmer in the cube next to them to avoid having to meet face to face. It's crazy. It's crazy. I see when I work in the hospital, people walking up and down the halls, and instead of saying hi, which all of spiritual care people, that's part of our job, is to say hi to people, their face is buried in their phone so they won't have to interact with you, or because they're just, interested in something else technology wise. How many of you noticed on public transportation, we put in our earbuds so we don't have to acknowledge that person next to us? It's almost like we're afraid. It's almost like we're afraid of strangers. Afraid of strangers. And I put strangers in air quotes, and I'm going to talk about that today. Today, I want to talk about how can we return to the days of deeper connection. How can we overcome any feelings we have of loneliness, which happens in this voyeuristic society, and the spiritual truth of strangers. So let's talk about some ways we can reconnect. So you're in a store and you have a cashier, or you're walking through the aisles like Home Depot and you see somebody working on stocking. Ask how they're doing. Ask them how their day's going. If you notice them doing something that's special, say, you have a really, really tough job. I really appreciate that you stock these shelves so that I can buy something. Sounds strange, but those people feel invisible a lot of times, particularly if people don't speak English as their native language. I do that with our housekeeping staff at the hospital. They feel invisible. We have a chaplain that works with our housekeeping staff, and they say they feel invisible in the hospital because they're behind the scenes working. So when I go up to them and say, hello, thank you for doing that very important job, they light up. And it's a way of connecting. It's a way of connecting. So instead of talking to somebody on social media, why don't you invite them to lunch? Neat idea, huh? Some of our friends live far away, so that's not practical. But we could at least pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, how are you doing? How about calling that person you were doing 10 text messages with and just finish the conversation on the phone? How about calling a family member that you haven't spoken to for a while? Smile and say hi when you walk past people. What a novel idea. But it's a form of connecting. Now, there's some really cool ways to connect as well. You may have heard of the Human Library Project or the Living Library Project, where books are people. They're people that you check out and you sit down and you have a conversation with them. And it's all about busting up stereotypes. You have a drug addict in front of you and you talk to them about their addiction. You talk to them about what it's like to be a drug addict in the world. And you may find that you're a lot alike, that this is a minor thing. It's not minor to them, but it's not their defining characteristic of their life. And so the Human Library Project is really cool. And I would like you to look that up on the internet. And the basic idea is don't judge a book by its cover, and the book being a human being. Malik says, finding your soul begins by discovering our ability to listen. Alternatively, by sharing a smile, a laugh, and just by being human to everyone, from friends, colleagues, family, and especially strangers, including those that are not from the same life situation as you. So this lack of connection that we sometimes have, especially in this technology-driven voyeuristic world, is it can lead to loneliness. And loneliness is a very real state of mind. characterized by a lack of connection, could be a lack of shared purpose, and feelings of not belonging. All of these can lead to loneliness. You can be in a room surrounded by friends or loved ones or a partner and still feel lonely. Did you know that loneliness carries a risk, a real risk of dying earlier than you would normally die? It actually can kill you, essentially. So how do we combat loneliness? Gretchen Rubin says, negative emotions like loneliness, envy, and guilt have an important role to play in a happy life. They're big, flashing signs that something needs to change. So adversity sometimes brings to us a message. And the message of loneliness is we might need to change something in our life. We may need to reconnect. In science of mind, we have this law, the law of attraction. And what it does is what you give out, you get back. And so if you're thinking, I'm a stupid person, the universe will conspire to prove to you that you're a stupid person. If you say, I'm a smart and lovable person, the universe will conspire to bring you situations and people and circumstances that will show you that you're a lovable and smart person. So it's our attitude, it's our mental attitude, and combined with the law of attraction that brings things to us. So the first thing you want to say is, I'm a lovable person. Say that with me. I am a lovable person. All right, amen. Be the love you want to see in your life. Be the love. Be the love that you want to see in your life. And the law of attraction will bring something like itself to you. The more you're love, the more you beam love, the more love that will come to you. And it's really not that the love isn't already there. It's that we constrict it. And so what we're doing is we're opening to more and more love by demonstrating that we're ready for that love. Believe deeply and feel the love. And the law will conspire to bring it and more love into your life. Now, science of mind has its sometimes it has its downsides. It can give the impression that you're supposed to do all this work on your own. You know, I don't need nobody. I am just going to work on myself, and I'm going to meditate, and I'm going to be by myself, and I'm going to go up on a cave on a mountaintop somewhere, and I'm going to work on myself, and I'm going to work on myself. You guess what? You need people. We need people. With people, we are stronger together, and we lift each other up when we're down. So we need people. We need community. Community is important. So if you're lonely, you need community of some type, even if it's getting on Zoom. You know, if you're scared of COVID, that's understandable. If you're scared of meeting people, you might be, is it agoraphobic? I can't remember. But, you know, scared of going out in public, do Zoom at least, or watch documentaries, or do something to get in touch with people and community. In an article on the internet named 6 Ways to #break up with loneliness, the author says, first, you may want to talk to a professional listener. Now, who is a professional listener? A chaplain, a practitioner, a minister. And you have lots of practitioners, lovely practitioners in this community. And they're all trained to listen. And therapists. They're trained listeners. So you might want to reach out to them and talk about your loneliness and talk about your feelings. And they'll listen. They'll listen to you. And maybe you haven't been listened to for a long time. And that's contributing to your loneliness. Another one is to play with a furry friend. Anybody have furry friends in here? Yeah, I have my furry friend, Gus. And it does help my loneliness to love on Gus and to be with him. The other thing we can do is explore new hobbies and activities. Now, I'm a person that's kind of a homebody, so I'm trying to get back into my groove of bowling and things like that. Those are some of the things I want to do. I want to go out with more of my friends to movies. That's one of the things that I like to do. And so I got to get myself going, and get out of the house. I've gotten in a habit of not getting out of the house and doing things. Another thing that she says, the author, is that you could volunteer at a nursing home. Talk about people that don't feel heard. People in nursing homes. Just going and sitting at the lunch table with somebody in a nursing home and having a conversation and listening to what their life is like or what their life was like in the past. They love to talk about their life and do a life review. What a wonderful gift. And that helps you. Check yourself for depression. See if you've got maybe some clinical depression going on. And you want to seek medical attention for that, or a therapist. And check out whether or not you've got some depression going on, and if maybe you need to do something about that, because that could be a deep place where your loneliness is coming from. And here's a favorite of mine, and I see a lot of my friends do this. Take a break from social media. Turn it off. Set your phone down for several days. And, because why? Why would you want to do that? Because sometimes when you see other people happy together, or you see this beautiful romantic video of how wonderful relationships are and things like that, it's great. I'm not putting them down. But they can hurt when you're lonely. They can really hurt, and they can actually do some damage if you do comparing. And I tend to do that. I tend to compare sometimes. Maya Angelou said, "Music was my refuge. I could crawl into the space between the notes and curl my back to loneliness." We can also, as I talked about earlier, provide service to others. That's a way to break out of our loneliness. The parable of the Good Samaritan from Jesus tells us to be of service to others, and we see the good of us reflected by helping others. So by helping someone, you're reflecting the good that you are back to yourself so you can see it. In Matthew 25:35 through 40, it says, "For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you visited me." What Jesus is saying in these verses is that when we do these things, when we serve, we're serving God. Because all of us are individualized expressions of the one, God, Spirit, universe, whatever name, Allah, whatever name you want to give God. Each of us is an individualized expression. So when you're serving someone else, you're actually serving God. What about strangers? I told you I'd talk about strangers. William Butler Yeats says, "There are no stranger, only friends you haven't met yet." Now, I'm going to give you any math nerds in here with me. Okay, I was a math nerd in high school. I'm going to give you a no stranger scientific proof from the science of mind. This is a scientific proof. Given that there is one source of energy from which all things are made, and given that the Creator creates from the substance energy of itself, everything therefore contains the elements of God itself. Each of us is created in the same way and have the same spiritual makeup. We are bound up in the same energy and can never be separate. Proof, therefore, we are all kin and children of God. Simple. Simple. Strangers can be easy to dismiss. When we consider somebody a stranger, we can do all kinds of mean things, can't we? I'm driving down the highway, and here comes this stranger, and they cut me off, and I say a few choice words. Or, as my friend Timber Hawkeye in his book, Buddhist Boot Camp says, "Oh my God, they must have to pee really bad." Isn't that better? Isn't that better to give them a benefit of the doubt? Everybody is an individualized expression of God, sacred and holy. Every person. So the Buddhist way would be to accept what is and to let it go, to let it go. Helen Keller said, alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much. We must work as a community to make the world a world that works for everyone. Marianne Williamson says, in every community, there is work to be done. In every nation, there are wounds to heal. In every heart, there is the power to do it. So I'd like to leave you with a few thoughts. We need to raise our consciousness above social media, the TV, and the internet, right? Need to get above that. We need to raise our vibration, our conscious vibration to a higher level and believe in peace and believe in love and believe in community. We need to build a consciousness of love, service, equality, and inclusion. Love, service, equality, and inclusion. Everybody gets a seat at the table. We can only change ourselves and thereby change the world one person at a time. This person right here. Because I can't make you do anything. I can't pray you to do something else. I can't ask God to make you do something else. I can change me. And so it starts with one person at a time. And the secret is not going to the mountaintop and doing it, but doing it in your regular life where there's all these challenges. That's where the real magic happens, is when you're doing this in real life. Remember that the work that you do, that we're talking about, is observed by others and can catch like fire. You never know who's watching. You never know who sees that kind act where you help somebody who fell on the floor up. You could inspire their whole day. You could change that day of someone doing something mean to somebody else to being kind. You never know. And so it can catch like fire. And one thing I want you to remember is that love is irresistible. Love is irresistible. Babies are just love, aren't they? And they're so irresistible. It's so wonderful to see a healthy baby at the hospital, and it's just wonderful. Communicate, collaborate, cooperate, and engage with others directly and lovingly, and the same shall be returned to you. So it's important it's okay to do social media. It's okay to be voyeuristic and reach out to your fellow people, all right? So instead of praying today, I'm going to leave you with a beautiful video as my prayer to you and to the world today. It's a video entitled, Where Peace Begins, We Are One Family Under God.
Here we stand together, one in our humanity, for we all come from the Father. We are one family.
It's our school of love and peace, where we learn there's a way for the world to live in harmony, and together we all say, and this is where peace begins. Here the sound seeds along. It all starts with our knowing we are one family. We are are one family under God.
Not just body but spirit. On and on we try to be people who live for others. For love knows no boundaries, boundaries.
Neither race nor religion, no barriers can keep us apart. Forgiveness, true understanding, this is how it all starts. This is where peace begins. Here is all to sing so long. It all starts with the knowing we are one family. We are one family under God. Under God, we are one. This is where peace begins. There is all sing so long. It all starts with our knowing we are one family. We are one family. Just one family. This is where to love. It all starts. It's a love. It's done to me. With our knowing we are one family. We are one family. We are no family. Yeah. We are one family. We are one family under God. We are one family. We are one family under God. We are one family.
And so it is. That was beautiful. And let's give Reverend Jim some applause for that wonderful, wonderful talk. Touching, wide-ranging, inspiring, and practical too. Yay! So now is our time for conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is the time every week when we offer financial support to assist this community to be a beacon of light and love to ourselves and others. Together, we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts the spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and contributes to the experience of sufficiency in the world. There are several ways you can give. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or mail your gift to our office. Our address is PO Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27519. So please place your hand on your heart with your gift or your intention, and let's say our affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life. I I give with gratitude, knowing God is my source. And so it is. So thank you, everyone. And remember that law of attraction that Jim talked about. What you give comes back to you multiplied. So this is a practical spiritual presence practice. So. All right. And now we have a final song from our beautiful Cary Daly. Thank you, Cary, again for being here.
Oh, thank you, Jim. I do have to say, I'm sitting there with my little kid mind going, but what about stranger danger? Stranger danger. What are we going to tell our children now, right? So you're going to have to do a part 2 for parents or something, but I don't have kids, so I'm not worried. Anyway, this is a song that I just love. I've done this at a couple weddings, and it's a song about relationships and really just going all in and loving somebody for exactly who they are. And it's by John Legend, called All of Me.
What would I do without your smart mouth? Drawing me in and then kicking me out. Got my head spinning, no kidding. I can't pin you down. What's going on in that beautiful mind? I'm on your magical mystery ride, and I'm so dizzy, don't know what hit me, but I'll be alright. My head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. I love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Whoa. How many times do I have to tell you, even when you cry and you're beautiful too, if the world is beating you down, I'm around through every move. You're my downfall, you're my muse, my worst distraction, my rhythm and blues. And I can't stop singing, it's ringing in my head for you. Head's underwater, but I'm breathing fine. You're crazy and I'm out of my mind. 'Cause all of me loves all of you. I love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my end and my beginning. Even when I lose, I'm winning. 'Cause I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Oh, cards on the table, we both showing hearts, risking it all, though it's hard. 'Cause all of me loves I give you all of me, and you give me all of you. Whoa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Karen. And I get that about you, that when you give us our songs, you give us all of you, and we appreciate it so much. All right, so now we have a few announcements. If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org. On the home page, there is a button in the upper right-hand corner. Click on that button and fill in the request form. You'll get that prayer and send it out to all of the ministers and practitioners. We love to support whatever you're up to. If anyone would like to dedicate a flower dedication to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at info@trianglecsl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyripplemeyer@yahoo.com. Please consider joining us on Saturday, June 16th for a community picnic. The picnic will be held at Lake Wheeler Park, the Holly Shelter, number 5. Please bring what you would like to eat and drink and any yard games you would like to play. We do have cornhole, hole, and board games to play. There is a concession stand nearby as well if you're not a cook or if you're in a rush. There's food available. The time is from 9:30 to 12:30. The address is 6404 Lake Wheeler Road, Raleigh, North Carolina. Please RSVP to info@tcsl.org and let us know how many people will be attending. And then we've got another fun activity. This is a save the date announcement for our August get-together. The first 25 people to register will be cheering for the Durham Bulls against the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp on Friday, August 12th, starting at 6:30. The tickets will be along the first base side of the stadium. Love donation is appreciated. Some amazing fireworks will follow the game. And this has been another one of our TCSL traditions for many, many years that had to go on hold for COVID. So it makes it extra special when we get to start these things up again. So it's a great way to connect with your community. So please join us if you can. Okay, in the comfort of your home or here at Sophie's, please stand for our July affirmations. This is a call and response. So I'll go first. But remember, you got to say it like you mean it. It's not just words. It's all about intention. All right. I understand the way we relate to ourselves, one another, the world, and the divine are all interconnected. Because of that, I cannot claim to love anything or anyone while holding anything or anyone outside of my heart, including myself. Therefore, I vow to become my own best friend. Besides loving myself, I proclaim that a plethora of people are drawn to me by the ever active law of attraction. With that in mind, I am called to communicate, collaborate, and cooperate with all of them in powerful, meaningful ways. I am a catalyst here to nurture, empower, and engage with everyone through the power of unconditional love. Beyond that, I recognize the divinity within everything, and I consciously choose to nurture a loving relationship with all of it. And so it is. All right. So, for one last time, you can sit down if you want to, because you're going to be closing your eyes, and I don't want you to lose your balance and fall over. But yes, let's close our eyes for a minute and turn within for one last moment of gratitude. And man, I know for myself that my divine spark is like a raging fire right now. I'm just so lit up by everything that has happened today, through the words, through the music, through the rituals, but mostly through the energy of community. And I know that that light is not just held within me, that it is flowing out into the world, and it's connecting with all the other little light sources, making one giant love bonfire. And that is so beautiful. That's what makes the world that we want to see. And because I know that we are all one, I affirm that that is what is happening with everyone who is participating in today's service now or in the future, because there's no future or past or anything with God. It's all just the eternal now. So I am so very grateful, so grateful for this fire of love, this divine spark that is that light on the hill that brings the truth to the world, that drives out places that may seem dark, because only light can defeat the dark. I am so grateful for everybody who has contributed their time and their energy and their talents to today's service. And I am so grateful knowing that we will go into the world after today with some new understanding, with some new insight, with some new commitment to connect with whoever comes in our path in a loving and nurturing and connected way. And that, I know, is what leads to our vision of a world that works for everyone. So I'm so grateful for everybody's participation. I'm excited to know how this is going to be manifested in the days and weeks to come. And so I ask you to just affirm your commitment to this vision as well with our words, and so it is. All right, amen. Amen, sister. So thank you all so much for your contributions to today's service. It was a humdinger, and each one of you helped make that so. So in lieu of Miss Dusty not being here, I will say her famous phrase, "I love you madly." And we'll see y'all soon. Thanks.